Hello, friends. I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping. Welcome to my craft corner. I am so excited that y'all are here and joining me tonight because I have three awesome cards to share with you using the Celebrate with Tags stamp set. We're going to go from a very simple, great card for a beginner card, and then we're going to do a kind of a stepped up card, and then we're going to go all the way to a wow over the top card. So I am super excited to share these with you. Hi, Jude. Welcome. While we're waiting for everybody to get here, just go ahead and let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're joining me from. And if you're watching the replay, a special welcome to you as well. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know that you are watching the replay. Now, if you enjoy seeing what I do, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you always know when I am going to go live. Usually it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, but sometimes it's a little bit different. Hi, Sonia. Welcome from Montreal. It says bonjour. So, Karen, yes, good evening and happy Friday. Woohoo! It is Friday. I'm so excited. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera around and we're going to get started on this. Let's see. Oh, didn't choose the right one. I tell you, I never do. All right, here is the Celebrate with Tags stamp set. Now, this is an amazing stamp set. I just like it because it has a ton of different occasions all in one set. Hi, Kimberly. Welcome. So glad you're here. Jude, you're coming from Central Florida. Awesome. So I like the Celebrate with Tags stamp set because there's a whole bunch of different occasions in one. You have birthday and Christmas. You have XO. It'd be perfect for Valentine's or Made with Love. Let's celebrate you. Be jolly. You have, a mitten, a to from, a balloon, some hearts. It is just great for a whole variety of occasions, which means it's really good for beginners. But it does come with a coordinating die set, which means it's really awesome for longtime stampers as well. So we're going to start with a super simple stamps, ink, and paper card. Karen, you love seeing me on Friday. Yay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just switch to Fridays eventually. I got stuff coming up the next few Fridays, but we'll see what happens. I don't need to open this. I already have my stamps out. What am I doing? So we're going to start with a super simple card that is just stamps, ink, and paper. I have a piece of basic white cardstock here. It is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And let me show you the color palette we're going to use for the first two cards. We have Granny Apple Green, Gorgeous Grape, Coastal Cabana, Melon Mambo, and Daffodil Delight. So all from the Brights color collection. That means it's really easy. You could make a whole bunch of these cards in all different colors. You could buy, the assortment of ink pads or just these 5. You could buy the assortment of cardstock. Like I said, this is great for beginners. I'm going to start with my Granny Apple Green, and I am using the balloon stamp. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up, and then I am going to stamp it off on my scrap paper twice before I stamp it on my cardstock. So we're going to do that each time. And I'm just going to stamp these balloons all over. Just like that. There's some green ones. And we're going to go ahead and switch. Hello, Sue from Seattle. All right, we're going to go ahead and switch. Look at this. We got a newish chamois, right? So I'm just going to clean my stamps out on my chamois. Just kind of squish them in there and get all that ink off. And we're going to switch to some Gorgeous Grape. So open up my Gorgeous Grape. And again, I'm just going to stamp off twice and add in some Gorgeous Grape balloons. And we're going to just stamp these all over again. So there's our Gorgeous Grape. And once again, I'm just going to clean that up in my chamois. Give it kind of a rub and a smoosh. And we're going to switch over to Coastal Cabana. There's my Coastal Cabana ink. Ink it up, stamp off twice. And we'll just add some Coastal Cabana balloons. So easy. We're just going to fill up this entire piece of basic white. And again, this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. How do I know when to purchase a new one? So I wish I had my super old one. but I actually threw it away. So this is my old one. This one still works, and I'm still using this. But they start to feel different. You're going to just start to feel that it feels less dense, and it kind of, I don't know, like the surface starts to erode. It almost gets kind of rough feeling in a way. And you know, it's probably just time to replace it. So, but they're going to last a while. I mean, I use mine constantly. Y'all, I make, I don't know, at least 30 to 40 cards a month. And mine lasts for years. So, all right, here come the Melon Mambo ones. Just filling in some of these holes in here. We can overlap a little bit too. And I might end up with more Melon Mambo just because I'm trying to, you know, fill in some gaps. All right, then we'll clean this off again. And I am going to switch to Daffodil. Here's my Daffodil Delight. And the chamois, they fit perfect in the empty stamp cases, but it doesn't come with one. So if you want to store your chamois in an empty stamp case, you do have to buy them. They come in sets of 3 though, so you have some extras. And the stamp cases are also good for just, you know, storing little things in, storing die cut pieces or different, I'm trying to think, like different embellishments and stuff. So, all right. So we just added a bunch of the Daffodil Delight balloons on there. And aren't those pretty? They're just nice and soft. They're still like that bright color, but they're not, you know, super saturated. So they are very light. Now I'm going to pull out my memento and we're going to stamp a sentiment with the Tuxedo Black memento pad. Now, if you have the Stamparatus, this is really awesome to do with the Stamparatus because you can stamp it twice and you'll get an even darker look. But if you're new to stamping, you're of course probably not going to have a Stamparatus. So I'm just going to stamp this with my memento ink. And there we go. We just get the sentiment right on there. And then this is going to go on a piece of basic black. Cardstock. I'm just going to squish out some of that glue because it kind of came out fast. This is a new bottle of glue, so it wants to come out. And then this is just going to go on a piece of basic black. This is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, doing math in my head. And then I have a piece of Coastal Cabana. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold it on that score line, which is in the center, and give it a squish with my bone folder to give it a really nice crease. And then we're just going to adhere this, and then our card is going to be done. Like I said, this is a simple stamping card, just stamps, ink, and paper, nothing else. But we're going to take this and we're going to step it up for our next card. So there is card number 1. Super, super easy and quick. See how quick that was? We just zipped right through it. So, all right. I'm going to set that aside and we're going to make another card. This card is going to be very similar, but it's going to be a little bit stepped up. So I'm going to start kind of in the same way. I have another piece of basic white. This is 3.5 by 4 3/4 again, same sizes for this card. And now I'm going to stamp my balloons, but I am going to stamp them straight on. So they are going to be super saturated. So there's some Daffodil Delight balloons. And then we'll do some Melon Mambo balloons. And again, just inking and stamping right on my cardstock. So pretty. And just trying to, you know, get some all over my card. Maybe I should have done some more daffodil ones, but whatever. All right. Thanks, Kimberly. Isn't that a fun card? So easy to make. Like I said, if you are brand new to stamping, that is going to be a perfect card to get started with. All right. Here is some Coastal Cabana. And again, we're just going to do the same thing. Coming back with our Coastal Cabana and adding some more balloons. There we go. Clean that off. And then we're going to do the gorgeous grape. You're driving and listening, Jamie. Oh my. Well, I'm glad you are here. You are dedicated. All right. So here's some gorgeous grape balloons that I'm going to add to this. And again, just trying to fill in. Probably going to end up with extra gorgeous grape and extra granny apple green because I'm doing those last. So I start, putting those all in the holes and stuff. Now, if you wanted to, you could open up the other inks and go back and stamp with some of those too. Hi, Letitia. Welcome. I hope I am saying your name right. So here comes the granny apple grape. Yeah, granny apple grape. What am I saying? The granny apple green, not granny apple grape. What kind of apple would that be? Or grape? I don't know. Oh my. All right. So now we have balloons just stamped all over that. So we can't stamp directly on here like we did last time because it wouldn't show, right? Just going to clean my stamp up before I accidentally, drop cardstock in it because that is usually what I do. And actually, I'm going to clean off my happy birthday because we're going to use this. I always love the way you can see the stamped image right in the chamois when it's new. A new color. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the basic black again, just like I did before. And again, this is the same size basic black. And all of these dimensions are available over on my website. The link is in the description to this video on YouTube. So we'll just put that on. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on the base as well. Now the base this time, I am doing it in Granny Apple Grape. Letitia. Okay, Letitia. I'll try to remember that. So I did it again. You guys, I just said Granny Apple Grape again. The base this time is going to be Granny Apple Green. We're going to go ahead and just adhere this to the front. Now this is where we're going to start. So this was basically the same as the first card. And now we're going to do some extra stuff. So here is our base to our card. Look how bright that is. Let me bring in the other one. See the difference? Same colors, just stamped off twice before doing that first one. Now I have my cloud punch, one of my favorite punches. And I just have some basic white. I'm going to go ahead and punch out 3 clouds. Maybe. I didn't push down far enough on that first one. There we go. I'm going to do it this way. So we're going to punch 3 clouds. And we are going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere these to our card front. So let me grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. And we're going to put these on. Now I'm going to use some of them the direct way they punched, and some of them I'll turn over so that they go different directions. That's what I like to do with my cloud punch. I always like to make sure my clouds aren't all looking the exact same. Just turning them over, somehow, even though it's the same exact shape, somehow having them go the other direction makes it look less the same. So this one will go this way. You love those bright colors. Me too. I love the bright colors. The brights is my favorite collection. They used to call them families. Now I think it's more collection is the correct terminology, but the brights are my favorite. All right, so we're going to add this cloud right here, and I'm going to go ahead and let it just kind of hang over the edge of that stamped balloon area. I always like it, when stuff kind of breaks the frame, right? It goes outside that frame. All right, so here's my last cloud. And this is just going to go down here at the bottom. And again, I'm going to go ahead and let it just go right off the side, just like that. So there are my clouds. Now I have a piece of basic black cardstock. I'm going to grab that happy birthday. Aw, thanks, Jamie. Where do I get my design ideas? Well, I look at a lot of cards, right? So I look at the catalog, and I look at Pinterest, and I look at all sorts of places. And then I take things and I take ideas from here and there and I kind of, put them together, right? I use different stamps, I use different colors, and just kind of change it into my own. All right, so I'm just taking my embossing buddy and rubbing that on a piece of basic black. And then I'm going to take some Versamark ink and ink up my happy birthday. And I'm just going to stamp this on that basic black. I'm going to cover up the Versamark because I don't want to get embossing powder in there. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper. And I'm just going to dump my embossing powder on the top of this. I love embossing. If you've never done embossing, it is just fantastic. It is just wonderful. It is my favorite technique. So this card is kind of like, if you have the basics and you're ready to step things up a little bit, this is steps it up, right? We're adding the punch and we're doing embossing. Maybe you already have embossing stuff. If you've never done embossing and you've done a little bit of stamping, embossing might be the next step for you because it is so much fun. All right, or it might be the first step for you. All right, I'm going to use my heat tool and I'm just going to zap this. It's going to get maybe a little bit loud for you for just a few minutes, but we're going to go ahead and watch that embossing powder melt. And just let it, get nice and bright and shiny. There we go. Isn't that fun? And now it is all like shiny and bright and it's raised up and I love it. Now, years ago, I'm going to cut this out with my paper snips, but years ago, years and years, like you did it at craft time with youth camps. Oh, wow. Years ago. So probably, how old is my child? My child is 25. So 25 years ago, maybe a little bit less. I used to do embossing and I did not have a heat tool. So I would turn on my electric stove and I used to melt the embossing powder over my electric stove. I do not recommend this method. It was harder back then to find the heat tools, to even find them, right? So I don't recommend that. But yeah, back in the day, that's what I used to do. I used to heat my embossing powder over the electric stovetop. Which is just amazing. All right, so I'm just cutting out my happy birthday very close, just in a square. And we're going to adhere this to the front, just like this. I'm going to go ahead and just the happy is going to go straight on the cloud. So we'll just put some adhesive right on there. And we're just going to adhere that right to the cloud. Now the birthday, I want this to kind of go between those two clouds, right? So I'm actually going to come in and I'm going to put a little bit of, what do I want to say? Some Stampin' Dimensionals under here. You used to do it over a toaster. Yep, over the toaster too. Definitely. I think maybe we didn't have a toaster for a while. It was back in the day. I was young. We were broke. What can I say? All right. So I want to put this under this bottom edge. I'm always afraid I'm going to put it in the wrong spot. So we want to put it over here under, I went off camera. I'm sorry. Over here under where the edge of the birthday is, because now this is going to go on here and that's just going to hold that up down there. All right. So I am going to go ahead and add a little bit of adhesive to the other spots though, because it is going to go up on the clouds a little bit too. Pull that off. And then this just goes right here. And this is going to be card number 2. Isn't that fun? So just a little bit stepped up. It still just took me a couple minutes. I think that took me like 10 minutes total. And that was with a lot of talking. So that is card number 2. Really super easy. Basically kind of the same design. I just, added a few extra little bits. Now I'm going to do something completely different. We're going to totally step it up. We're going to use the dies. It's going to be a little bit over the top. So hopefully it doesn't take too long though. I pre-did a bunch of the pieces for you guys. So, because that always takes a while. All right, so let me grab let me grab my papers here. We are going to start with, I have a piece of Pool Party cardstock. And then I have a piece of the Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper. This is a Host Designer Series paper. It is available from the mini catalog. So if you place at least $150 order, you can purchase this as one of your Stampin' Rewards. You still do have to pay for it, but it is at a massively reduced price. And you get tons and tons of pieces in there, and it's gorgeous. I'm also going to use the Spots and Dots dies. Now, did you guys know you can get these free right now during celebration? If you put in a $100 order, you can get this die free, which is amazing. I love it. I love this die. I just got it. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to cut this out. All right. And Sue wants to know the story behind my business name, and I will tell that to you. But I want to try to tell that when I'm doing something here. All right, so I'm just going to, normally, you put your cardstock down on your cutting plate, and then you put your die on top of it. Well, because my cardstock is smaller than my die, and I'm getting distracted by comments. You don't like hanging, because why? I don't want it to take too long. No, I just don't like things to take too long. I don't want you to think that stamping cards takes forever. Anyway, because I want to be able to see where I'm putting my cardstock on my die, I went ahead and put my die down first, right? So it's upside down with the die cut, the cutting edge facing up. This is a little bit different. And now I can see where my cardstock is going to go and make sure that it's kind of like centered and straight. And then what I'll do, and now, you know what? I did this wrong because I want to actually put my cutting plate on it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set down my clean cutting plate, and then we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to line this up, get it where it goes, get it straight on there. All right. And then I'm going to put my icky cutting plate on top, and I'm going to run it through like this. And this is just so that it was easier to line it up properly. So I'm just going to run this through my Big Shot. And there we go. Now I can pull this off, and you can see all those little dots come out. Oh, and I got some ink on here. I don't know how that happened, but that's okay. And we'll just leave it. All right. So we got all those dots out of there. Take this out. Whack that on my trash can a few times. Get out some of those little dots. And now I'm going to adhere this over my pattern paper, just because I think it's really fun. So what I want to do is I'm going to come in with my adhesive and just like draw lines between the dots. So just kind of going back and forth and putting adhesive between the dots. I'm skipping some because so there we go. So I just added the adhesive, got to kind of go slow to keep it out of those holes. And then this is just going to go on top of that piece of Designer Series paper. Now you can't really see, but I did this because I just like the way that it gives you kind of a variated pool party look behind there, because that Designer Series paper was basically pool party with a design on it in kind of a lighter pool party. And so this way we get those spots, and it's just kind of varied, right? It's not solid. So I thought that was kind of fun. So then this, just like our previous card. So this piece is a little bit different sized. This piece was 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And I'm going to put this on a piece of Granny Apple Green that is, let me see, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. That's just going to go right on there. I like having those 1/8 borders. I always think they're so much, they just give a nice little zip to it. And then I have a piece of Coastal Cabana Coastal Cabana and Pool Party are like two shades of the same color. So I love using them together. We'll just give that a fold. And so this is going to come right on here, and we're just going to adhere this to our card front. Super, super easy. All right, there we go. And then I have, make sure I'm doing this right, I have a piece of the Coastal Cabana, and I cut it out with the Stylish Shapes dies, which y'all, if you have been following me for a while, you know the Stylish Shapes dies are like my favorite. I use them on like nearly every card. So we're going to add this to the front. And then I have some candles that I cut out with the dies. Let me show you the dies real quick before I forget. So these are the Celebrate with Tags. I guess they're called Celebrations Tag dies. And they are really, really cool. They have, so they are stuck together. Okay. So they have two different tags in there. And this one's like a pocket tag. And this is just a tag. And there's some hearts that you can cut out the mittens. You have some candles, some different banners and circle and rectangle. You can cut out the balloon. There's a snowflake. There's one to cut out little dots. All sorts of really cool stuff. Love these dies. I used the candles, and I cut out some candles already. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this tag, this label die. What is it? A banner die. That's what I want to call it. Because we're going to use that in just a minute. But I already pre-cut some candles. All right. So we have a Poppy Parade candle and a Gorgeous Grape candle and a Granny Apple Green candle. And then I have 3 Mango Melody candles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually snip off the flame, and I'm going to adhere it to the other candles. Now, don't forget this. I have a card class coming up in September. I think it's September 17th, using the Celebrate with Tags bundle. So the stamps and the dies. You'll have to be able to use both. And that's coming up in September. Registration closes next week, Wednesday, at the end of August. So if you want to take that class, make sure that you get registered. It is what I call an exclusive class, which means all the cards that I make for that class will not be available anyplace else on social media. You're not going to see them on my website. I'm not going to post them on Pinterest. They won't be on Instagram. Nothing. All right, I'm using my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm just going to use that to pick up that flame. All right. Now, Sue asked about my name. So many of you guys know, but maybe you don't, that in addition to doing stamping, I also teach French, and I speak French, and I love French. So the name Onigo Stamping is a combination of French and English, what we kind of refer to as Franglish or Franglais. That means let's go. So let's go in French is on y va, and I dropped the va and changed it to go, so it means let's go. And that really is kind of like my attitude towards crafting, because I am totally like, I am down to craft. I will craft anytime. I will try anything. I am a great, if I see it on Pinterest or something, I'm probably going to jump out and just give it a try. Jump in 2 feet first. Now, had I been smart, I would have used adhesive sheets on these before I cut them out, so that I didn't have to worry about my glue gushing, because there's all these holes and things. But I was not smart, so we're just going to go with it. And I'm going to put on 1 candle here, and we'll do the Poppy Parade candle next. Trying to just get a little tiny bit of glue. Just get it in some of these places. Really should have used the adhesive sheet on the striped one. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that glue like on the tip of my green glue here and just kind of rub it around. So it's just a little bit on there. And then this Poppy Parade one, come here, you. Is going to go here next to the Gorgeous Grape one. And then we'll do the Granny Apple Green one too in the same way. Come on, adhesive. And this card's almost done actually. So there's a bit of die cutting in it, but I just love these candles. I think they're so much fun. And I love the way that, you know, you have the polka dot candles with the polka dot background. And I just got glue on my finger. I'm just gonna grab some whatchamacallit. I am having trouble coming up with words. Yeah, hand sanitizer. That's what I was trying to come up with. Just grabbing some hand sanitizer to rub on my fingers, get some of that sticky off. I don't know about you, but I do not like sticky. I really, really do not like sticky. Yeah, my kids didn't even know syrup existed until they were like 5 because I can't deal with sticky. All right, so I'm going to grab my Coastal Cabana ink, and I have the little stamp that says Let's Celebrate You, and I'm just going to stamp that on the white. It's just a scrap of basic white. And then we're going to grab my cutting plate. I got to get all those dots. Look at all those dots. The dots are hanging out on my cutting plate. So I got to scrape those in the trash. Get rid of them. So I'll put my cutting plate down, and then I have that basic white. And now I'm going to grab that little banner die, and we're just going to cut out the Celebrate. Now you could stamp this and then cut out the Celebrate and, you know, layer it up and stuff, but I actually just want to use the Celebrate. So I'm going to cut this out with that little banner. Oh, it's going to move on me. Do I have some? I'm going to have to get out some washi because this will bug me if it moves on me. So I'm just going to grab some washi tape here. Some old washi. I have new washi. You guys, I need to use my new washi. It's sitting here. Like, I need to use it on a card, not like just for tacking down dies. All right, so we're going to just tack down that Celebrate. And we'll go ahead and cut this out. Slide that through. And this is what I mean when I say nothing is hard in stamping. Nothing about this card was hard, right? It just takes, some things just take more time, or they just need more materials, right? That's all. That's all the difference. But nothing about stamping is hard. The only thing that I could think might be hard sometimes is measurements. All right, I have some gold, not gold, I have some silver cord here. And I'm using up that rule, which is good because I have extras of the silver. I'm going to pull out the center. Y'all know I like to do that. And I'm going to grab one strand of silver. Come here, silver. Give that a pull and just slide it down. Pull that out. So there's my silver cord. By removing that center, it just makes it a little bit easier to tie. It's a little more pliable. It's not as thick. So then I will just tie this in a bow, just like that. Now, of course, if you're on YouTube, you can click into the description of this video. It will take you over to the blog. All of the supply list for these cards are over there. All the information you need. You can always shop directly from the supply list. You just click what you need and then check, add to cart. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just snip off the ends. And I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I just want to fray these out. So I'm just sticking my Take Your Pick tool in there. Hopefully you can kind of see that, and just fraying it out. So easy, especially since I took out the center to it. It is really easy to just pull out. The Take Your Pick tool makes it super easy though. If you don't have one of these little tools, you want one. I use mine all the time for everything. Of course, it is generally what I'm constantly looking for on my desk because it also goes away. It like runs away a lot. I'm just going to cut off a little bit more of these ends. They just seem a little much. There we go. All right, and then I have my mini glue dots that are rolling across my table. And I'm just going to stick the knot of my cord right in there of my bow. And we'll just take this and pop it right on my card. And then we're going to take that Celebrate. This is almost done. We're going to take this Celebrate and we're just going to add this to the front too. And I'm going to grab some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. So here's my minis. And these are going to go on both sides. Trying to make sure you can still see. Everything's getting a little bit crazy around here. This is what happens when I do 3 cards. Things start turning into a mess. So I'm just going to take that Celebrate, and then this is just going to go right here over my ribbon. Isn't that fun? Super fun. It's really not hard. It just uses those dies, so it uses a little bit more stuff. And that's what I mean then. This stamp set and the dies are really great. You can use just the stamp set on their own, like we did in the first card. You can step it up with some heat embossing and some punches and stuff like we did on the second one, or you can get your die cutting machine out and do some of the die cutting like we did on the third one. So it is just a great, great stamps, and I love all these bright birthday cards. The brights are my absolute favorite. Y'all know that. I love the brights. So, all right. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to see you all again Tuesday night at 8 p.m. It is going to be Mystery Stampin' next Tuesday night. So I hope that you will come hang out with me on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Watch for the supplies that you need on Monday afternoon. They'll be posted in the Facebook group. Yeah, that's about it. Again, if you like these videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions about card making or Stampin' Up, just let me know. That is what I am here for. I love to help you and I love to answer your questions. Thank you all. I'm so glad you like the cards. All right, I'll see y'all Tuesday. Have a fabulous weekend.